Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today I've got 4 questions for you and from you that were left on my channel by various people, and they're all relatively quick and easy to answer, so we're going to hammer them out together in this one video. They range over a wide variety of topics, but it's important to me that I try to do this because I know that they're not the only ones who are curious about these questions. And so we create this content regularly on the channel where we answer your guys' questions. If you ever leave a comment on a video and you want me to specifically answer it, it's probably best to type the word question, because I can search via that keyword and then I can isolate the questions for answer through videos like this. Before I go any further, my name is Dwayne Cunningham and my in-game name is Infidel1258. Usually people just call me 12. Pick your favorite as far as I'm concerned, guys. And we'll get into the topics here, but before I do that, TNA Raffle Tournament number 4 is up. This is a 400 DC tournament that I'm creating, and I am giving away $100 worth of cards, $103 worth of cards, including 3 different level 2 General Sloans, 3 different summoners at level 2, 2 Adelade Brightwings, 2 Dax Paragons, and 3 Temporal Masters. So 10 different cards available, 100 possible participants. So it's a 1 in 10 chance at worst that you're going to win one of those cards. And it's a 400 DC cost to get into the thing, not to mention there's DC given away for every participant who finishes at the highest levels. But these cards, in case you're new, they're not given away based on performance. They're raffled off. Your participation is all that you require in order to win these cards, to be eligible to win them. Whether you finish first or last, you will have an opportunity to win one of these 10 cards. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the topics. The first is Dr. Crypto asked, what's your go-to mana team in a 15 mana match where rule sets and restrictions are not a problem? And so I don't have one queued up, but absolutely I had an answer very much ready. And as far as I'm concerned, when it's 15 mana, I like looking for one tank that is a carry card that will, in conjunction with my kitty, be a real carry card. And so what I like to do is, maybe I can find one. Can I find one? No, I can't. What I like to do is I will go over to my dragon team and I will pick Kitty because of the speed and the heal and the true strike. And 2 speed gives you 20% increased ability to dodge. That's the first thing. The tank heal is going to be pivotal because I'm putting forward 1 main tank. That's what I do. And the true strike is just nice, right? You're never going to miss. That's going to eat up 7 of my costs. You might think that's too much, but if you're putting forward 1 tank who is going to have the survivability that's required, they absolutely can run through 2 or 3 or even 4 monsters that are 1 or 2 or 3 mana cost. Some of my preferred choices with this summoner are, first of all, you guys know it already. Where is he? Nightmare. So I'll do Nightmare, and in conjunction, especially at a high level, where Nightmare at the highest levels has phase and blast and 7 speed. We're taking that 7 speed, we're making it 9 speed. That's a 90% chance to dodge, unless they have a high speed themselves, right? If your attacker, whoever's attacking you, has 9 speed, then you actually have it's a neutral opportunity to dodge. But very few monsters have similar speed. And so often what you'll end up going up against is somebody who's got 2 or 3 speed, and then you're going to have a 50 or 60% chance to dodge. If they have 2 speed and you have 9 speed because of Kitty, then you have a 70% chance to dodge. I love those odds. And because Nightmare has phase, you're going to even dodge. You have that same opportunity to dodge magic. So whether it's archery, magic, or melee, this card can get around it all. And so 8 plus 7 for Kitty is 15, and that'll be one of my absolute favorite teams. But I'm going to say to you 2 other options quickly, because they're the same, but they're with different teams. this is the best of the three, but if there are certain other rule sets, you said ignore rule sets, but this is a similar play I like doing with the fire team when there is no magic. Where is he? Okay, Serpentine Soldier. I'll do this with Kitty for 12 mana specifically when there's no mana available. Or sorry, when there's no magic available. Because dodge in conjunction with the 6 speed plus the 2 from Kitty is going to be nearly 100% chance to avoid in the right context. Again, if your attacker has high attack, then you're not going to slip them. But most people do not have 6 attack, 5 attack, 4 attack. Most people have 2 or 3 attack speed, and that's just not enough. 2 or 3 attack speed is simply going to miss, more than half of the shots. And that with the shield and the thorns and the Kitty heal, to me is, it's not even a subjective opinion. It's really just 100%. It's objectively true that this can be very, very powerful in those low mana matches, specifically when when magic has been excluded. Of course, this is at a higher level still. This monster, just like the Nightmare, is far less effective at bronze and silver. But he asked me, what am I doing at those levels? So I'm telling you. And there's one more. It's the same thing with blue. Really, I've got one for every team, frankly. But another one I look to often is the Serpent of Eld. And again, specifically in situations where magic has been excluded, because you've got that dodge, you've got the high speed, you throw on the Kitty. You've got the armor and the magic, the archery reflect, which is so nice also when their magic is already excluded, because you've got when magic's been excluded, you have this 50% chance that they're going to pick archery. Now this becomes even more useful. Return fire becomes even more useful. And so those are my 3 main options in the low mana matches. And as an alternative to that, sometimes at the 13 mana cap, what I'll do is I'll just drop a Kron and I'll go in with my, I do have, like I said, I think he's rented right now, but I own a Kron. I do have a level 4 Kron, and I'll do Eastwood, and I'll spend 3 on the Eastwood, and I'll spend 10 on Kron. Eastwood just because he's my best green summoner, not because he synergizes well with Kron. He's 3 mana cost. He's my level 8, and I can put out Kron, and Kron, of course, is amazing. At the highest level, Kron with the Divine, with the Last Stand, going up to like, I think 6 magic damage at the highest level, and I think maybe 15 or 18 hit points, I forget how many, plus the Divine Shield and the self-heal. This thing is a beast. And you guys know that. So those are my 4 options at the low mana matches that I'm running regularly. And I find Nightmare, I do probably at least half of the plays, it's a Nightmare focused at the 15 mana or lower. I will do the Nightmare only when I have 15 because I want to make sure Kitty's there to help the self-heal. Those other plays can work. Both of the other plays that I described can work without Kitty, but they're obviously less effective. With the fire one in particular, you can do Serpentine Soldier, plus you can do Flame Monkey for the repair, because the Serpentine Soldier has armor and the speed, which is going to help the soldier get away even more often. And then I'll do something like Venari Heatsmith in the back lines, which gives you a thorn on the front and a thorn on the back and an amplify. That's another low mana cost battle that I'll do in situations where Kitty can't be played. That's 5 different options at a low mana match that I really like running. Next question. Typical Gangster asked, how much did you invest in Splinterlands when you got started? I actually took all of my money for cryptocurrency in 2017, right before Bitcoin went up to $20,000. When Bitcoin was $3,000 for the first time ever, I was convinced, and I took out all of my earthly savings, every penny, literally. I remember my banker thought it was crazy. She's like, "What are you talking about? You're going to invest in Bitcoin? It's a bad idea." And I had to convince her to give me my money. Like, she was like, "This is a bad idea," and she's trying to dissuade me. And I remember telling her, "Don't worry about it. I've fully thought about it. I know what I'm doing." even though kind of I didn't. I knew enough that I got involved and I was doing the right thing, but at the same time, I made big mistakes, and we could talk about that another time. So I took out 25 grand. I paid a bunch of tax. I had $15,000, I think US, I think maybe 12,000 US that I put into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, I think. And that eventually went up to a lot, like 40, 50, $60,000. But it fell about 80%, 90% because of the bear market that followed. And during that time is when I was really beginning to discover Steam, which was the blockchain that Splinterlands was based on. And I took all of my money and compiled it, all of it, which was now probably $4,000, $5,000. I compiled it into Steam. And then I was blogging on that site and making like $1 or $2 a day. I thought I'll just do this for the rest of the bear market, $2 a day every day for the next 4 years. That'll add up. But Steam kept dropping and dropping and dropping, and I eventually just said no. Splinterlands seems awesome. I'd been dabbling with Splinterlands because it was on the blockchain, the Steam blockchain, and that's when I said, okay, Steam. I love the idea of social media on a decentralized platform where it's censorship resistant, but it doesn't feel like it's ready to take off yet. This game on the blockchain does seem really cool and fun and a serious opportunity. So I took all of it. I think it was $5,000 and I put it into Splinterlands. It wasn't on one day. It was like, 500 here, 1,000 there. And I slowly moved it in, buying DEC, which was at the time, 1,000 DEC equals 65 cents, which is crazy now because 1,000 DEC equals like $4 or $5. And I was buying DEC for cheap on the Hive engine, and then I was deploying it here in the marketplace using it to buy packs, which was giving myself a 35% bonus because Splinterlands accepts DEC at 1,000 DEC to $1, and I was buying them for 1,000 DEC for 65 cents. And so I bought Untamed packs galore, and I really invested in this game through Untamed packs. And that's how everything began for me, because of those airdrops and those packs and those amazing cards that we all know and love now, such as the ones I just mentioned, such as Kitty and Llama and Kron. So it was roughly $5,000 by the end of it, American dollars. But again, it had started as a bigger number. It just bled out to the point where it was roughly 5,000. And over the course of maybe 6 months or a year, I put that into Splinterlands. That was every penny I had. And then moving forward, I put like $100 or $200 a month, every month, into blockchain, usually not Splinterlands, but occasionally Splinterlands. And it's hard for me to say how much of that was there. So I'm going to say $7,000 US in total I've put into this thing. Plus I bought $1,500 worth of land, maybe $8,500. That's as accurate as I can be for you. And now my account is my cards are over 100 grand. My land is how much is land worth these days? Plots of land are worth $617, and I've got 100 of them. So that's $60,000. So I have $160,000 worth of assets. Not to mention, SPS, whatever my SPS is at, which I'm going to stake, by the way. So yeah, it's going well, and I think it's going to get better and better. And I've got 1,200 Chaos Legion packs that I've opened, all of which are going to keep dropping airdrops on me for the next so many months. And I just bought $18,000 worth of more Chaos Legion packs, which is going to continue to pay dividends with respect to the airdrops, and not to mention the SPS airdrops. So that's my investment story with this game. Question number 3 from Fatadon Jatipaibun. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And he asked, is Mylor still viable? He said, there's so many new monsters that have thorns. Is Mylor still functional, helpful, viable, worth investing in? And I think this is an easy question and also a complex one. Easy in the sense that you're totally right. There was a lot of monsters now that have thorns. We go over here and we go to ability and we look for thorns. There it is, thorns. You can see, wait a second. That's a lot of monsters that have thorns. You can definitely build a thorn team without a summoner. And so you could make a strong argument that Mylor is redundant. is unnecessary. And I think even if you were playing green, look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4 greens, then you add some neutrals in there, or some dragons, you can easily build a fully thorned out team without a summoner who drops thorns. And he doesn't double the thorns damage. So on the face of it, the easy answer is, yeah, he's redundant, he's unnecessary, I wouldn't recommend buying him. But the thing is that these monsters are themselves not inexpensive. You know, some of these are modern and they're quite inexpensive, but some of them are older and they're a bit more pricey. Cards like Manticore, cards like Spinebacks, Crystal Wolf, Spineback Turtle, Sea Monster, these are quite expensive cards. Enchanted Defender, Cornelius, Lord. If you already have some of these, then like me, then maybe you don't even bother with a Mylor. You know, you just go with, and I've said this many, many times, the caliber of summoner that you have is less important than the depth of your deck. You want, if you had $1,000 to spend, I wouldn't recommend spending $1,000 on a very expensive summoner and then denying or ignoring your monster deck. You need a versatile monster deck, even more than you need a really powerful summoner. Kitty at the highest level with level 1, you know, monsters is useless, or not useless, but very ineffective. And Mylor, though he is powerful and can drop those thorns on some really interesting combinations that don't have thorns, you know, Flesh Golem, the Queen Bee or whatever it's called. There's some amazing combos with the green team that you can maximize your deadliness. Flesh Golem, Nectar Queen, Harvester, Earth Elemental is a great one, but these are not necessarily cheap. These are very expensive cards. And so Mustang looks great with thorns on him. Pellicor Mercenary looks great with thorns on him. So those are really interesting choices. But Mylor costs an arm and a leg. You know, Mylor is going to go for, look at that. If you buy 60 BCX at a time, it's $29 each. If you want to buy one, it's $35. If you want to buy, you know, let's see, where's the best deal at? This one looks kind of reasonable. At $490, you can get level 3. But man, I don't think you, like, I think you could spend that money more effectively. So the question isn't just, is Mylor, you know, viable? Yes, he's viable. Absolutely. Every single summoner is viable. And I mean that completely and literally, because I really strongly believe that it's more important you have a variety of monsters than that you have the most overpowered summoner. Mylor is very effective, and he's only 3 mana, which is one of the main considerations for me when I'm building a tank. I wanted the cheapest summoner possible because I actually want to deploy more powerful monsters. So yes, he's viable, but the question to me wouldn't be so much, is he viable? It's really, if you're going to choose between buying a Mylor and, let's say, you know, $30 worth of monsters, or for that matter, if you want to look at this, level 3, like I said, almost $500, how could you deploy $500 better? I think there are ways. And so to me, the answer would be move away from Mylor, or if you had Mylor, maybe even consider selling him, not because he's bad, but because the value could be reallocated in different ways that would probably stretch your dollar further. If you had $500 to buy this level 3 Mylor, or to come over here and look at, go to the market, look at summoners, even focusing on green. If you really love green, let's imagine that you have to make a green team. You know, for $500, you could get a max copy, almost a max copy of Obsidian. I would say that's way more powerful. Way, I mean, objectively, right? From a power perspective, it's got way more power. And from a utility perspective, a higher level summoner is going to give you that carry potential into gold, diamond, and beyond. And that's going to be, you know, roughly the same price. Even if you wanted to go with Eastwood, who's like going to offer a bit more collection power, right? Doesn't he? 40 collection power as opposed to 20 collection power. You go something like an Eastwood, and that's quite a bit more expensive too. But for $650, you can get the max copy. That is, to me, way more interesting than a level 3 Mylor. And so that's the long answer to your short question. Mylor definitely is still viable, but the question is, How could you allocate the value that he represents in a better way to diversify and expand your ability to extract the maximum reward for your time and attention? Thanks for the question. And lastly, PYU, which I guess is PU, he dropped a comment. He said, what can bronze players do to max their rewards with just time and attention? But then he also did say, quote unquote, without much investment yet. So I'm going to say to you, you absolutely, you probably don't want to hear this because most people don't want to hear it, but I'm going to tell you anyways because you asked the question. At bronze, you will get rewards in this game. At bronze 3, you absolutely can play the game and you will be paid for that payment, for that play, for that time and attention. With 0 power, you can win 5 loot chests and you're going to have a 1 in 10 chance that those are going to be cards. Some of them are going to be credits. Credits are pretty useless, but they absolutely can be saved up. So the question is, if you have no money at all, none whatsoever, but $10, this is a money tree that might have a little bit of fruit on it every couple weeks and for your entire life. That's the really cool thing, for your entire life. And so I absolutely believe that if all you have is your time and attention and you're willing to commit to the game because you first believe in it and two, enjoy it, those are very important foundational considerations. Do you believe in the game? Do you enjoy the game? If yes, then I say to you, even at bronze 3, just play the game and forget about what it's going to add up to, because it's going to take a long time. Like if you're extremely overweight, you start working out, at first it feels like you're never going to be fit, you're never going to be healthy, you're never going to be pleased with how your physique looks. But you can't be thinking, when am I going to get a six-pack? You can't be thinking in this game, when am I going to be a millionaire? You just start playing because, again, you said you believe in the game and you enjoy the game. And in months and years from now, even at bronze 3, those rewards are going to be meaningful. Every now and then you're going to get dropped a legendary. Every now and then you're going to get maybe a gold foil. Every now and then you're going to get a card that's going to help you. And five collection power here, 5 collection power there, and it slowly adds up to be, maybe 1,000 collection power over a year. And then maybe you have a $10 in a month and you can go and you can buy some collection power, or $5. Little contributions and continued investment of time and attention will add up to something. Most people who are in that position are probably rolling their eyes right now and saying, it's not enough. That's what I hear all the time. It's not enough. You don't understand. I do. I was there. I had worse rewards than you do. And I've had videos that explain that fully. But I really, really am speaking to people who are willing to hear the fact that this is not nothing. If you believe it's nothing, then the game's not for you. If you believe the game's not going anywhere, the game's not for you. If you don't enjoy the gameplay, the game is not for you. But if you, like me, believe that this game will continue to grow and flourish and that you find entertainment with playing it, then stop worrying about when you'll be a millionaire and start just enjoying the daily play. And maybe you'll get lucky tomorrow or today with your daily loot chest happening to be a card, because it can be. It has a 1 in 10% or 1 in 10 chance of being a card, and that could be any card. Is that extremely unlikely to turn into a legendary gold foil? Yes. But is it possible for each day and each loot chest to be a legendary gold foil that begins to immediately transform your entire future with this game? It is possible. One legendary gold foil would change your power dynamic so dramatically. Legendary gold foil. Let's see. Which ones count? Untamed. Yeah. One legendary. This is not a reward card, so hang on, look at reward cards. Summoner. There we go. That's why. So here you go. These 3 are currently being dropped in the rewards. What if you got one of these and it gave you 12,000 power? It was worth $160, but forget about the value. Forget about the value. If you suddenly dropped one of these, which is possible, it would transform your entire future with the game. And it will happen not because you're you make it happen. It'll just happen by chance, like it has to me and to others. But it only happens if you're putting in the time every day to maximize your potential loot chests through the time and attention that you're committing. And so what can new players do? They can just keep grinding and set aside the view or the hope that this is going to be life-changing to you. Just knowing, like, just first, because you believe in the game, and two, because you like the gameplay. And then in time, without debate, without, subjective opinion, the value of the assets you have accumulated will grow. That's not a topic of debate. It's just a matter of fact because of the nature of these assets. And I think I've explained that many, many times, so I won't unpack it here, but they're deflationary in nature. That's my point. And that was the last question. And so one more time, guys, I just want to remind you that the tournament is up. TNA Raffle Tournament number 4. The link for the tourney to join the tourney will be listed in this video description. If you're interested, 400 DC is definitely a very fair price to be, essentially buying a 1 in 10 opportunity to get these amazing rewards. And we do these once a week, so stay tuned for that. If you watched the video to the very end, make sure that you drop a like. If you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Have an amazing day. God bless.